Hello beautiful Gluebookers. It's easy to forget how far you've come. We move through life adjusting, coping, doing what needs to be done, and somewhere along the way we stop noticing our own growth. So today, while I'm working on my Gluebook, I want to take a few minutes to talk about that, about giving yourself credit for getting here. I'm Deborah. Welcome back to the Collage table. Today I'm working on a new spread and sharing some thoughts about recognizing your own journey even when it might not always look like progress. Sometimes when I sit down to glue, my mind slows down just enough for these kind of thoughts to surface. All that noise in my head fades a little and I can see things more clearly. That's one of the things I love about working on my Gluebook. It gives your mind a place to land. You're doing something simple with your hands, but your thoughts start to untangle at the same time. Sometimes we don't give ourselves enough time to notice how much we changed. We just keep moving. But when you sit quietly, even for a few minutes, you start to see that you've been growing all along, even when it didn't feel like it. Most of us are harder on ourselves than we need to be. We look at where we are and focus on what's missing, what we still haven't done, or how far we think we still have to go. But when you stop and look back, you start to see how many things you've already made it through, things that maybe once felt impossible. You've learned, adapted, and kept going, even when it wasn't easy. Sometimes growth doesn't feel like growth. It can look like surviving, showing up again, doing your best on an ordinary day. It can be quiet, not a big turning point, just a slow change you might not notice until much later. You don't always see the pattern while it's forming. And honestly, that's true for both life and art. When you're gluing scraps or piecing together a page, it doesn't always look like much until you step back later. Growth feels a lot like that too. It can be messy up close, but something beautiful starts to take shape over time. There's this idea that progress has to look big, that we need milestones or achievements to prove it. But real progress usually happens in small moments no one else sees. The decisions you make differently now, the way you handle something that used to upset you, the calm you feel where it used to be chaos. You might not realize it, but that's growth too. And it's worth recognizing. Maybe you've become more patient with yourself. Maybe you've learned to walk away instead of reacting. Or maybe you've simply stopped apologizing for needing rest. Those things count. They really do. You've built strength and wisdom through every challenge, whether or not the outcome was what you've hoped for. You're still here. Learning, adjusting, becoming someone with more understanding and depth than before. I think it's easy to underestimate those quiet shifts. We don't get a clear before and after moment. It just happens slowly, in the background, until one day you realize you're not the same person you were a few years ago. Sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves. We talk ourselves down, replay mistakes, or focus on what we haven't done yet. Over time, that kind of thinking wears you down. You stop seeing what you've actually done right. That's why it's important to lift yourself up instead of waiting for someone else to do it. Of course, it's nice when people notice, but that can't be the only way you recognize your own worth. So, give yourself some credit. Tell yourself you did well. Even if no one else says it, you can still take a quiet moment to say, that was hard and I handled it. It might feel strange at first, but acknowledging your own effort changes something inside. It builds confidence in a real way. You start to trust yourself more because you're no longer waiting for approval to feel proud. You already know what it took to get here. You're giving yourself that recognition. And you deserve it. I think we forget how powerful that is. Just acknowledging yourself. It changes how you see your own story. One of the things I appreciate most about getting older is knowing what I've already faced. There's a calm that comes from experience. I don't worry as much about every possible problem anymore, because I know I've been through hard times before, and I got through them. It doesn't mean life feels easy now, but there's a steadiness that comes from experience and knowing your own strength. You've proven to yourself again and again that you can handle more than you once thought. That's something worth giving yourself credit for. All the times you faced the unknown and kept going. You start to really see the evidence of your own resilience. You don't need to prove it to anyone, because deep down you already know you've done the hard things before. You've built that proof through living. Every wrinkle, every scar, every little lesson, they're all evidence of the life you lived, and that's something to be proud of. And just to be honest, I don't have everything figured out either. I still get anxious about plenty of things, and there are days when I doubt myself more than I'd like to admit. But I'm getting better at noticing those moments, and giving myself a little credit anyway. Sometimes I literally tell myself, "You did okay," or "I'm proud of you for handling that." It sounds small, but it really makes a difference. It reminds me that growth doesn't mean you stop struggling. It just means you're learning to meet yourself with a little bit more kindness every time. I'm curious if you felt this too. Maybe you've had a moment where you realized you handled something better than you would have years ago. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just one of those moments where you think, "Oh, I would have fallen apart over this before, but not now." If you want to share, I'd love to read your story in the comments. And if you don't feel like writing anything, you can always just leave a yellow heart to let me know you're here. The thing is, life doesn't hand out gold stars for personal growth. There's no ceremony for the days you kept going when no one noticed, but you can still acknowledge it for yourself. You can take a breath, look around and say, "I've come a long way." Maybe I'm not where I thought I'd be, but still, I've grown, and that matters. So, as you go through your week, try to notice those small signs of progress. Give yourself some credit. You've earned it. And maybe eat a cupcake all by yourself. And if things still feel uncertain sometimes, that's okay too. You don't have to have it all figured out to be moving forward. Progress isn't about being finished. It's about showing up for yourself, again and again. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. If you want more videos of me working in my Gluebooks and sharing my life reflections, check out the playlist. For now, thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Till next time, bye.